Hi, my name is Chris, and today I'm going to be giving you a walkthrough on how to use Adobe Audition. Audition is a great sound editing software for making your own podcast or editing sound for your video. It's a great substitute for Logic Pro X if you don't have it, and it's a great asset if you use Adobe Premiere Pro. So in this tutorial today, I'm just going to walk through how to edit and export a project using Audition. So let's get to it. When you first open Adobe Audition, it should look something like this. There are a few windows and toolbars I'm going to be using throughout this tutorial, and it's a good idea to be familiar with them now. In the top left corner, this window here is the source bin. Here you can access all of your audio recordings and files. Above this we have a toolbar with all of our essential editing tools, as well as the two buttons, waveform and multi-track, which allow us to go between the two workstation windows in Audition. Above we have the menu bar, which we will be using several of these features throughout the tutorial. This allows us to gain access to more advanced editing options. This giant window here is the main window. This is where you will be able to see your audio files and will be able to edit in this main window. At the bottom, playback controls and record controls allow you to play back and record audio, and you can check your levels in this bar down below that says levels. So I already created some audio files that I'm just going to import from my desktop, so I'm just to simply drag them and drop them inside the source bin. See how it now pops up in my bin. So the first thing is we're going to double click the narration file, and see once I double click it, it comes up onto the main window and you can see all the waveforms. It's a lot easier to edit now because you can see you can practically see all the waveforms and some parts where there's just no noise whatsoever, so it's easy to find places where you want to splice your audio and just edit it that way. So I'm going to play this. Hello, and today I'm going to do a microphone test using a Zoom H5 sound recorder. So it sounds okay. You can switch between audio files by double clicking another audio file. Just remember to save whatever you were working on the previous file before switching. In practice, it's probably a good idea to keep saving your project. So let's hear the test file. This is my sound 1 inch away from the sound recorder. This is my voice 3 inches from the sound recorder. This is my voice This is my voice 5 inches away from the sound recorder. Okay, so those were imported files. If you wanted to record your own audio, if you have a microphone plugged into your computer, you can record directly into this waveform bar. So to do that, you just need to right-click the source bin, go into New Audio File, and you have the option to name it and all those settings. We're not going to mess around with the settings below the name because they were already set to the settings that we need them to be. So we just need to hit OK, and you come with this blank this blank file. So all you need to do is to hit record, and you will start seeing waveforms as you record. I'm not going to press record now because I do not have a microphone plugged into my computer. So to edit in the waveform window, the first thing I would want to do is, I noticed that in the test file, there's one strip of audio that is really quiet. I can't really hear it myself. So I want to normalize that. And you can normalize the entire clip, or you can normalize just a particular section within your audio clip. To do that, you need to highlight the section that you want to normalize by holding left click at the start of the region and just drag it so you highlight it. See how it's now white instead of black? The white area is the area that is highlighted. To normalize, and for those of you who do not know what normalizing is, what it does is it takes the largest waveform and it sets it to set target, and once the highest waveform is at the level of your target, all the rest of the audio will adjust accordingly. So here you heard before that it is really soft, and it looks like it's a little below negative 21 decibels. We're going to change that. So to normalize, you're going to go to Effects and Amplitude and Compression and go down to Normalize. When you click Normalize, you have the settings normalize to, and we want to normalize it to negative 1.0. You can normalize it to different target levels. However, if we want to make it louder, negative 1 decibels is the way to go, where you can get louder audio and won't blow anyone's ears off. So to normalize it, we just click apply and see how the waveforms just got louder. When I play it back, this is my voice 5 inches away from the sound recorder. So see, we can hear it without me having to boost the volume on my computer. Before this clip, I actually made a small mistake. This was this area here was supposed to be I was supposed to say 5, but 5 inches away from the Zoom recorder, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is I want to delete it from this file. To do that, you can simply just highlight the clip once again by holding the left button of your mouse at the start of the region and just drag it across the region you want to delete, and you just hit delete on your keyboard. See how that entire section is gone. So if I play it back, the sound recorder. Shoot. This is my voice 5 inches away from the sound recorder. Entire region is gone. It is you deleted that region, and it will not show in the. It will just create one seamless clip once you drag it into the multi-track folder. So before we move on, let us save by holding Control or Command on your keyboard and just hit the S button to save. And remember, if you made a mistake, like maybe I didn't want to delete that, you can just hit Control Z and that will restore whatever edit you made last. But I actually do not want that, so we'll just hit delete and save. So once you're done editing in the waveform window, you can head over into the multi-track window to create to mix your audio. Right now, if we go and look at the waveform and multi-track buttons, you can see that the waveform button is highlighted in blue. That means if it's highlighted in blue, that means that is the current window we are on. Right now, we want to go to the multi-track so we can access the mixer in Audition. So I'm just going to click that, and this window will pop up asking the name, location, name. You can name the session name to whatever you want, but what we also need to look for is the sample rate. It's set at 44.1 kilohertz, or just 44,100 hertz. The reason why we want it set to this, because Audition, its default is actually 44.8 kilohertz instead of 44.1, is because our audio, or my audio, is the sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz, and we want it to match. Otherwise, there are going to be some weird results when we start mixing. So once that is set, I'm just going to hit OK, and it will take me to a new window. You can go back and switch between the waveform and multi-track windows by using these two buttons. So right now we're on the multi-track. If I just click the waveform, it takes me back to the window we were in before. So let's click multi-track. When you save any of your files in the waveform window, the changes automatically are applied, and they carry over into the multi-track window. So to see that, we need to drag in our audio files. So you just need to drag and drop by holding left click, and then just drag it to whatever track you want to put your audio in. So there's the narration file, and this is the test file. I'll just put it right here. In the multi-track window, we have a lot more editing tools available to us. You'll see that we have access to the toolbar here, where the three tools that you are probably going to use the most are the Move tool, the Razor, and the Time Selection tool. Let's start from the left. The Move tool, you can, if you have had the Move tool selected, you can move tracks anywhere you want in the multi-track window. So you can move your files down to another track, say to track 5, or you can move it on the same track and line it up with my recording here. You should note that. Remember that everything is kind of like a snap lock. So if you want to align your clips without having to zoom in, if you just move it closer to your the files closer to each other. If you move the files closer to each other, you will see that it snaps into place, and that blue line indicates that it is perfectly aligned with each other. So if we just zoom in using the zoom in button at the bottom of the mix window, we can see that that it is perfectly aligned. What you just saw there, the zoom function, it corresponds to wherever this playhead is. So you just need to remember to move it into position and zoom, so that way it automatically zooms into the area you want to look at. Now let's zoom out. The next tool in the toolbar is the Razor tool. So maybe I want to split up my audio, and I want it to be two separate files, unlike in the waveform window where I just removed a particular section. So for the test file with the different microphone tests, I want all three of these to be its own separate clip, and that's where the Razor tool comes in handy. If I just click the Razor tool, I could just click wherever I want in my clip, and once I click here, you see that it creates two different test files. Note that in the Razor tool you cannot move these, because if you do so, it's going to assume that you want to Actually, I just made a mistake there. Yes, you can move it. You just need to make sure you are clicking the topmost part of your clip where the name is, and until you see the move tool icon, and you could just move it. Say I want to move it into the next track underneath, and maybe I want to move this. Maybe I just want to move it down to 2 tracks later. The last tool is the time selection tool. Just like the waveform, just like in the waveform window, you can highlight a particular section you don't like, or you need to edit, and you can just hit either the delete key or just do whatever you want to that region of audio you just selected. In that case, I just want to delete these, and so I'm just going to hit the delete key, and you can see that you can see that it only deleted the section that was highlighted. You can still delete the rest of the section if you just click on the rest of the audio that is in that highlighted section and just hit delete. See how now both of them are gone? But now it's now the highlighted section is still highlighted, and I don't want it to be highlighted anymore. For it to disappear, all I need to do is just press G on my keyboard, and once I press G, the highlighted region disappears. So let's just align all of these end to end real quick, and there we go. There is my project. Now I want to export this project right here. Hello, and today I'm going to do a microphone test using a Zoom H5 sound recorder. This is my sound 1 inch away from the sound recorder. This is my voice 3 inches from the sound recorder. Shoot. This is my voice 5 inches away from the sound recorder. Okay, so I want to export this so I can play the audio outside of Adobe Audition. To do that, we can do it one of 3 ways. The first, we can select all 4 clips here just by selecting all the regions. I just did that by holding down the left button of my mouse and just dragged it so the box covers all the regions in my project. I can export it that way and just go to File, Export, and Multi-Track Mixdown and selected clips. I can take the time selection tool and export a particular section I want, so everything that is highlighted will be exported in just one file, or I can export all of the files in my project. In this case, I want to export everything from my project, so to do that, I don't need to highlight anything. I just go into File in the menu bar, Export, Multi-Track Mixdown, and Entire Session. When you do that, this window pops up asking for the file name, where you want to save it, and the format you want to save it in. Everything below that we don't need to worry about. It's just these 3 that you need to check to see if you got everything right. I'll keep it, I'll just rename it into Audition Test File .wave. Oh, shoot. I did not mean to do that. You can change the name in the file name. It's saving to my desktop, and the format is the one important thing that you want to take a look at here, because you can save it in many different formats. But the 2 that you would normally use are MP3 and WAV. want to export this as a WAV file. So I'm just going to make sure that WAV PCM is highlighted and it shows in this bar, and I just click OK. So it just takes a few seconds, and depending on your project, it will take longer or shorter. And already here it's, as well as the file that I made before, it is now on my desktop. So those were the basics on how to edit and export a project using Adobe Audition. In the next video, I'm going to go more in depth on how to edit an audio file using Audition. Once again, my name is Chris, that guy with the cinema camera, and I'll see you in the next one.